Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Dead Ball Specialist Podcast. This is me, Saurav. I'm gonna be joined by Sammy in a while, but since we've left off about a couple of weeks before, I just wanted to catch you up with things we were doing. There's a lot to talk about football, but before we do that, we're just gonna talk with the guy who's just been spearheading the crowd engagement at the ICC World Cup in India. Sammy, welcome back to the podcast. It's been a very long time we have done this. Do you want to just share a little bit about what's happening out there in the fields? I think you've been a lucky mascot for us. 5 or 6 games unbeaten, right?
Absolutely. I think so. I think so too, Saurav. I think so too. And if you ask me, I think the endeavor is to take India home, be at Ahmedabad on the 19th
Okay.
of November, which is a very special day in my
Okay.
life as well. I'm not giving details about that, but it will be a very special day for all of us if I can be there. I've just done the India-Pakistan game over there.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is called a perfect opener for an exciting, thrilling, and nail-biting India versus Pakistan match that we have today.
It is an absolute pleasure. I've been doing this for quite
yeah.
some time now. I've been doing the IPL and different leagues across the world. In fact, this is my third World Cup for ICC. I've done two T20 World Cups before this, but the 50 over World Cup in India is a different ball game altogether. Let me tell you that. India Pakistan was just like I think that was the appetizer for me, and I just know that when India. They play the finals, and I know that they will play the finals in Ahmedabad. It is just gonna be madness.
It was an appetizer because मेरे को main
हाँ.
course लग रहा है धर्मशाला वाला game India versus New Zealand. I was hooked onto my seat. I definitely know you said that why don't you come
अरे
over to Dharamshala, and I at the end of the
yes,
game, okay, you know me, I'm a kind of a guy who doesn't regret things, but by the end of the game I was just wondering कि boss ये अगर घर पे माहौल है वहाँ पे क्या होता? Can you just explain a little bit about how the mood was,
correct. No, but the thing is that sort of I think 100%. I think everyone should know this as well. लोगों को ऐसा लगता है कि
Uh-huh.
मेरे जो दोस्त हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं उनको वो प्रिविलेज मिलना चाहिए कि अगर मैं होस्ट हूँ और वो मेरे इतने अच्छे दोस्त हैं तो उनको वो प्रिविलेजेस मिलने चाहिए कि वो मेरे साथ स्टेडियम में आए, वो मैचेस देखे, chill करे, have a great time. But I must tell you guys, I have amazing friends, all right? They don't even ask for that favor, but when I kind of offer them, they don't even come, right? So that is, I mean, that's the upside of all of this. But having said that, sort of, yes, the India New Zealand game, भाई सच बोलूं कुछ देर के लिए मेरी तो फटी पड़ी थी. वहाँ पे विराट बैटिंग कर रहा था and I was there on stage and I was telling everybody, do not move from wherever you are. I stop people from going to the loo, right?
Dude, this is the exact thing. I think it was you, right? The last time you had come over, we were talking about these in-game superstitions that you've had since childhood.
Absolutely.
I had one of them, yeah. I had such a moment because every time I was just going up, either to get a bottle of water or to wash my hand or do anything, every time. And then it was a phase where New Zealand was bowling like anything. मतलब everybody who's just coming in ball swing कर रहा है, people are missing, कुछ ना कुछ हो रहा था, and then I eventually figured कि boss, this is not the age to get these cheap thrills, so let's just sit here, stick with the superstition that if I stick here we're gonna win, and that's just what happened.
Absolutely.
But it was a terrific
It
game.
was a
for
terrific game,
sure.
and I'm telling you, I think India's performance in this ICC Men's World Cup, the 50 over World Cup, has been absolutely phenomenal. The day we are recording this, India is actually playing a game tomorrow at Mumbai against Sri Lanka. I have decided not to go for that game, unfortunately, because of the fact that I've been very unwell in the last couple of days, and there's a big game coming up. I'm in Calcutta right now, not in Mumbai, unfortunately. Like you said in the beginning, but मैं हूँ नहीं, मैं Calcutta में हूँ. India South Africa 5 तारीख को यहाँ पे मैच है, and I want to be ready for that game. So that's why I'm giving the Sri Lanka game a miss. I know Wankhede, it's just going to be killer, but I'm giving that a miss and coming over here and doing this game. But sort of I think as Indians we should just pray that 2011 के बाद 2023 में भारतवर्ष के सरजमी पर हम वर्ल्ड कप उठाएं और it's just like write history once again.
Fingers crossed for that. But Sammy, now for sure, we know this is not a podcast about cricket, but we just wanted to talk a little bit about it. Diving straight into what has been happening in football. Last couple of weeks, there was a international break, so we also had a lot of festivities around. However, there have been some really ground-shattering news when it comes to Manchester United. I have a direct Fabrizio Romano tweet, which I consider as, sort of the cardinal
The
truth.
Holy Grail.
He's come out and he said the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Now he's come out and said that Sheikh Jassim has presented fully cash bid, clearing all the debt with zero new debt for 100% of the club. Unfortunately, it seems that Sheikh Jassim has now run out of favors when it comes to winning over the club, because what it looks like is that Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid, and it is quite staggering when I tell you this, that he is bid for 25% of the club, which involves him being involved in the football operations part of it.
Yeah.
I found a lot of reactions across Twitter in which people said that this is not what we were looking for. People really wanted a fresh and a clean slate where Manchester United could begin with again. And what it looks like with Jim Ratcliffe having 25% of the club's stake, there will be further and a prolonged involvement of the Glazers again.
Right.
Now, however, this does come with a caveat where Jim Ratcliffe in the near future, Jim Ratcliffe and the Ineos group would want to take over 100% of the club, but that is not sure. We do not know what the final bid looks like. It's been 10 days since what this has happened, but what it looks like is maybe this is something that could go forward. Now, having said all of this, there are indications that if Jim Ratcliffe gets this deal done, he'll probably bring in with himself someone who could manage the football operations part. So that means the CEO, Richard Arnold, and a few other people are going to be culled. Now, all of this is based on just speculations.
Right.
Now, how do you feel about what is going to happen, what's not going to happen?
So in terms of feeling,
do you see this as a positive?
Yeah, so in terms of feeling, Saurav, I think if I look at the club and where it is right now, we haven't won a trophy, the Premier League trophy or the Champions League trophy. And according to me, when every time I say major trophies, these are the two major trophies in my head, right? An FA Cup or a Carabao Cup or a
Absolutely,
Europa. Yes, silverware, nevertheless, but not what people might debate about the FA Cup as well. But according to me, I think the two cups that I am looking at as a Manchester United fan, and I've been, of course, I have very good reason to believe that these are the two pieces of silverware that were kind of qualify as major trophies for me. I don't see us winning it in the near future also, Sheikh Jassim coming in is great news for Manchester United, according to me, right? We need that surge of money coming in. We need Manchester United to become, a brand that it is in the global market as well. Right now, with the kind of performances and with everything going on, I think it is ridiculous. I just want to play this one clip that the Manchester City fans were singing when we lost 3-0 to them. Just listen to this. And coming back, this is exactly what I'm saying. It's not that we've not lost to Man City before. It's just that where we are right now in terms of a brand visibility or a brand image where we are, I think that is being hurt the most. I was looking at what Sheikh Jassim, and again, whatever Sheikh Jassim has said has not been said to the media or on a public forum anywhere. It's just people have come out and quoted him saying that हाँ उसने ये बोला था, उसने ये बोला था, like that. And one of the things that I read was that if he takes the club over, he's gonna try and sign Kylian Mbappe. No, yeah, Kylian Mbappe coming to Manchester United, I think is what is needed. And when I say Kylian Mbappe and the likes, all right, players like who are straight up impact players, who are going to sell jerseys, who are going to kind of score goals, who are going to kind of put you on the front foot. I think that is the need of the hour, number one. Number two, financially also the club is in tatters, and it's been for a very very long time, right, sort of. I think you and I were also talking about it last time when we were sitting and having a drink together. The fact of the matter is that boss पैसा चाहिए इधर पे, तो शेख जासिम कतारी पैसा बिल्कुल लेके आओ, अभी चाहिए. You look at all the clubs, look at Man City, man. Look at Man City and where they are today, right? They're the treble winners. Yeah, we as United fans might, still kind of pull their leg and say, oh, when did you win it? We never heard about it. But the fact of the matter is that they won it. And the fact of the matter is that they got a coach like Pep Guardiola. They backed him to the T, got him all the players he wanted. And look at the results that they're getting, right? I think that is the way forward. अभी हमारा need of the hour है कि ये जो Glazer family है, who's just been taking money out of the club, first to get rid of them, not to have them in 100-kilometer radius of the club, anywhere near the club at this point of time, right? हाँ, तो ये Jim Ratcliffe वाला ना मेरे को ये as an arrangement लगता है. If you ask me honestly, it's like यार मैं trouble में हूँ तो सौरभ एक काम कर यार, तू आके मेरे कंपनी का 25% ले ले और मिलके राज करते हैं. वही वाला सिचुएशन मुझे लगता है. That can't. You basically need an overhaul at the club from the top to the bottom.
I agree with that.
From the top to the bottom. You need to look at every system.
But Sammy, yeah, the whole Qatari money thing about the whole thing about how Sheikh Jassim's gonna take over United, that's not happening anymore now. Unfortunately, this is what it looks like as of now, as of today. What is it today? 22nd. Yeah, 1st of November. It looks like SJR's bid is something the Glazers favor as well. The Glazers look at Manchester United as a cash cow. They do not have any sort of emotions associated with the club. That is what actually hurts us, right?
Correct.
I mean, I remember the last 12 years since we've been in our respective places, since we've been always catching up with the game, every alternate year has been just a heartbreak. Now, I'll tell you something, we're not going through a very golden patch of football. We've lost 5 games. We have the lowest Premier League points at this point of time since 1986. That is an Opta-Joe stat that is right up on my screen. Look at the kind of dire football we are playing. Now, you know what, I will not say anything regarding how we are playing the football right now. It's bad. It's not that great, frankly. We've been losing games left, right and center. Doesn't look like there is any sort of cohesion.
Correct.
But what I do want to point out is the fact that, look at Manchester City in terms of a unit that is not just being put out every week who's playing playing with 11 players. There's a lot behind it.
Correct.
Right after we lost the game 3-0 to Manchester City, Pep Guardiola was asked, why do you think Manchester City has been a winning machine? A machinery, they've been continuing this stellar form for last 6 years. They won 5 titles. They won the treble last year. Despite winning the treble, they went and got few very exciting prospects. Now look at us. What we've been doing is since Jose Mourinho, we've got serial winners here. We got Jose Mourinho. We got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was an experiment we wanted to do, but we were going good at it.
Correct.
And then what you do is you suddenly see a couple of games that do not bode well with the club. We 5-0 lost to Liverpool.
Sort of 1 second. I just
4-0 lost
make
to City.
one point, brother. What you're saying is absolutely right. But with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when you say that he was an experiment, मैं completely तेरे साथ agree नहीं करता हूँ, क्योंकि Solskjaer also never got the players that he wanted. I remember there was a time when
That's what I was just getting
हाँ
at, Sammy. That is exactly where I was getting at. What I was trying to say is just because you had a couple of bad games doesn't necessarily mean that what you're gonna do is you're gonna sack the manager, bring in a new one, and rinse and repeat. The same cycle's happening. Now look at someone like Eric Ten Hag. He massively overreached with this team last season. Now we have a couple of crucial players who are out, someone like Martinez, someone like
Correct.
Shaw. And that is exactly why we are not able to play out from the back. We have a couple of players who could not be sold. Now, this is not upon ETH, it is upon the football operations department to understand and go forward.
Absolutely.
Now, I can, like Sammy, you and me, we are not very relevant people in terms of Manchester United as a club. But what I do
मैं
feel,
तो हूँ यार मैं
which I'm
किसने
pretty
बोला
sure that what you
एक
feel as
second,
well.
क्यों बोला तूने कि क्यों बोला तूने मैं
And
relevant
not that
नहीं,
way,
मैं
bro.
वो
Not
relevant-
that way. नहीं, मजाक कर रहा था मैं. What I meant to say is that how we feel, I have a gut feeling that as a club, as the operations department, we really do not have a plan B or a plan C.
Yeah.
That is what is actually required. Now look at Arsenal. They held on to Arteta.
Absolutely.
Despite finishing 8th and
Absolutely.
5th, and eventually they finished 2nd. So a little bit of patience is also required. A little bit of background work in terms of how this whole, important cog or wheel functions. Like we are the only club that doesn't have a director of football. Can you imagine
Yeah,
that?
because we are a joke. I'll tell you.
So
मेरे को हर बार इस चीज
we
पे
are basically a mid-table club.
एब्सोल्युटली मेरे को किस चीज पे गुस्सा आता है पता है तेरे को सबसे ज्यादा ये हालैंड वाला जो सागा है ना हालैंड would have been playing for Manchester United
Yeah.
dude you remember
Manchester
yeah because he
United,
had a
yeah.
great
Dude,
relationship with
dude, look
Ole
at the
Gunnar
players
Solskjaer
he quoted.
correct he had a great relationship with Ole Gunnar
Ole Gunnar
Solskjaer
Solskjaer wanted Bellingham.
he wanted Bellingham to come in he wanted Haaland to come in he
Yeah.
initiated the conversations but
Yeah.
the Glazers said no
Yeah.
इनको ना भाई इनको विजन नहीं है मेरे को जो समझ में आ रहा है ठीक है इनके पास
Exactly.
विजन नहीं है ये लोग
Exactly.
च में ऊ की मात्रा है ठीक है और जितना जल्दी तुम ये च में ऊ की मात्रा को निकालो इधर से उतना ही बेटर है ये 25% वाला जो रैटक्लिफ वाला जो डील है ना मेरे को अकॉर्डिंग टू मी इज अ फार्स इट्स अ फकिंग फार्स अकॉर्डिंग टू मी
I know. But moving on, Sammy,
as we
a little bit of heartbreak when I see this, but Eden Hazard has finally retired. He was going through a very bad phase in terms of the injuries that he kept getting up, in his last couple of years in Real Madrid he's barely played, but now Eden Hazard at the age of 32 he's retired. And there's been a lot of tributes that have been coming in. On my screen right now is a tweet from Fabrizio Romano. He's announced his retirement from professional football. Now these are the words of Eden Hazard itself. He says, "You must listen to yourself and stop at the right time. After 16 years and more than 700 matches played, I have decided to end my career as a professional footballer. I was able to realize my dream. I have played and had fun on many pitches around the world. During my career, I was lucky to meet great managers, coaches, teammates. Thank you to everyone for these great times. I also want to thank the clubs that I've played for. Lille, Chelsea, Real Madrid, and thanks to Belgium Football Association for my Belgian selection. Special thanks to my family, friends, advisors, and people who've been close to me in good times and bad.
Right.
Finally, a huge thank you to my fans who followed me all these years and for your encouragement everywhere that I've played. See you off the field soon, my friends." Now, I was a little shaken, but what a player, dude. What
I
a
was
player.
so very
Despite
happy.
having played for Chelsea, every time he
हाँ because
अरे क्या करता है भाई, मैं तुझे बताऊं, just because he scored against United वो बात नहीं है. Any guy can score against United.
Actually, yeah. I mean,
but क्या
that's
player
true, that's
था.
true. Yes, absolutely, Saurav. I think one of the greatest players to, ever set foot on that football pitch. One of those players who was who had that impact. Every time Eden Hazard was in the squad of the opponent, I think the opponents would take notice of the fact and plan around him. I think that says a lot about him. The fact of the matter remains that one more player, great player of our generation, तेरे मेरे generation का एक और player भाई अपना बूट को हैंग कर रहा है, अपन थोड़ा बुड्ढा हो रहा है, मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है.
Dude, I just have a couple of stats here I just wanted to bring in. He scored 110 goals in 352 appearances for Chelsea between 2012-13 to 2018-19. Won 6 trophies at Chelsea, notably 2 Premier Leagues, 2 UEFA Europa Leagues. Now, apart from all of that, I have this very funny tweet by John Obi Mikel. It just goes on to show how much he was loved, how much he was cherished. He says he never trained. He was the worst, the laziest footballer I've come across in my life. But then, come the weekend, he produces and was the man of the match. That is John Obi Mikel for you. And this is how Eden Hazard is. He always looked at football as something as means of an escape from real life.
Absolutely.
He was flamboyant, dude. I mean, I also remember every time he made it look like so flawless. He was least bothered to go back. He was least bothered to track back and defend. Even Jose Mourinho put out a tweet on his retirement, said enjoy retirement, kid.
Yeah.
So that's a lot when Jose Mourinho does something.
I agree. In fact, that's the beauty about players like Eden Hazard, and I think somewhere down the line that part of football is going away. Even when there's a story of Ronaldo, not Cristiano Ronaldo, the real Ronaldo, if you know what I mean, right?
The Ronaldo.
Yeah, R9.
Ronaldo.
R9. Yeah, R9 from Brazil.
R9.
There's a story that he was playing for AC Milan and he had put on some weight, and the manager asked him to shed a couple of pounds and said that you need to be faster when you're running. And he said that, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to score goals or do you want me to run? And he said, of course, after that, the next match, he scored a hat-trick, right? He was played and he scored a hat-trick.
That is
what
that is
the
Ronaldo
game is about.
So exactly, this is that ilk of players are missing right now.
I agree. भाई Manchester United में तो भरे पड़े.
माने मेरे को भाई हमारे मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड में लोगों को वेट गेन होता है, कुछ भी हो जाए, ये गोल स्कोर नहीं कर पाते.
हाँ भाई,
खैर छोड़ो इन सब बातों
हो रहा है,
डिप्रेशन में पहुंच
पतला
जाने
हो
से
रहा
अच्छा है
है,
कि नहीं करो.
नहीं खा रहे, सब हो रहा है, बट गोल नहीं जा रहा भाई.
Please, let's not get there, man. That's a whole new Pandora's box of troubles you're opening for me.
दुखती.
I think we will get back to Manchester United being bad, where in our Premier League corner. But just one small piece of news, Sammy. It is now confirmed the Euro 2028 will take place in UK and the Republic of Ireland. Proposed venues include Belfast, Birmingham, Cardiff, Dublin, Glasgow, Liverpool, London, Manchester and Newcastle. However, when I say Manchester, it is not the Old Trafford Stadium. It is the Etihad Stadium that we are talking about, and this is the most notable exclusion, and it makes so much sense, right? I mean, a stadium that has a leaky roof, that has age-old facilities, that has seating arrangements that have barely been looked at. Now, for me, it was a little bit of a heartbreak, but it is also telling of the times we are living in right now. We are a mid-table club, for sure.
Mid-table club छोड़ यार.
I am not at all surprised.
Mid-table club छोड़. पता है, वो अपना जो स्टेडियम है मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड का ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड, उसमें हाँ, if you have to describe Old Trafford the best, all right, in one word, just pick the first word of the name of the stadium.
Old.
Exactly.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God. Now it sounds just bad.
I know. So it is.
But it is how it is. Yeah. This is how it
यार
is.
पैसा इन्होंने सिर्फ निकाला है, स्टेडियम में कुछ पैसा नहीं डाला है. Leaky roof is, I think, one of the major problems. I've not heard of a major football club having a stadium which is an iconic stadium as well, right? I remember 2015-16,
Of course it is iconic.
people were talking about how stadium are kind of losing their heritage because they are being renamed the Emirates Stadium and the Etihad Stadium and maybe a few I think there's an American Express Stadium.
Even the West Ham one,
exactly.
right? They used to play in Boleyn grounds and now they shifted to even the Tottenham Hotspurs. But these are stunning new stadiums, right? Like what it is that we just wanted to have as supporters. Sammy, मैं तुझे बताऊं personally.
Correct.
I would want like to have an owner who comes in, who gives if not anything, gives a bit of a shit about what is actually happening. Look at the grounds.
Right.
I mean, we are the biggest stadium. We have an average capacity of 75 to 78,000 people coming in for every game week. अगर तुम अपना स्टेडियम का मतलब इफ़ यू आर नॉट लुकिंग इनटू हाउ यू कैन एक्सपैंड इट और यू कैन better the stadium in terms of whole experience for players and for the
Spectators.
spectators. I mean look, we have the highest match day revenues that we generate.
Correct.
It is so costly to get these season ticket holders. It just burns a hole in your pocket, but people still do it. It's because whatever it is, for us football is a way of life. Now when you have owners like the Glazers who come in and do not look into the whole club, they do not want to invest in the club, this is what it is. Now we've got a leaky
It is,
stadium.
yeah.
I remember, Sammy, the 3-0 loss to Manchester City. So these days, Sky's been doing a little program known as the Gary Neville
Right.
podcast. Now, I can share the link. Of course, we cannot share the video with you directly here, but do go over to this section. It's down written here below. Do go over there, and you'll find a little small screen grab of Gary Neville itself saying that, you know what, look behind me, and he's pointing to the leaky roof. That is just
Gary Neville भी है कभी ना
it's
यार.
funny, man. It's just यार कमीना नहीं है. मैं तो बोलूँगा he is a very outspoken guy and I love him. The world needs to know. The world needs to start talking about how these leveraged buyouts of clubs is not
the
done.
two-faced nature of Saurav Ganguly. Let me tell you, okay, when Gary Neville is speaking his mind, okay, he is very happy about it. But when his friend Sammy is speaking his mind, okay,
Gary Neville's friend, no?
your friend Sammy, dude, bitch, right? He will call me offline and say stuff like, "Listen, you don't have to be so candid, okay? Just like calm down, okay?" So ये दोगलापन है, सौरभ, ये तेरा दोगलापन है, मैं तेरे को बता रहा हूँ, है ना?
ये मैं ना अभी तेरे को ये रिकॉर्ड करने के बाद अपन जाते हैं. लेट्स गेट ऑन अ कॉल एंड बी अ लिटिल मोर कैंडिड बिकॉज अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स आई वांट टू टेल यू. आई शुडंट बी टॉकिंग or saying this out. But moving on, Sammy, let's move on to our Premier League corner.
Yeah.
And shocking result, not so shocking people would say, but Chelsea did lose to Brentford 2-0. What is happening with Chelsea, brother? They look to be worse than what Manchester United is right now.
No, man, I don't think so. I think Chelsea, the fact that they don't have a shirt sponsor just tells you where they are in life, right? And them losing to Brentford, I think there's something seriously wrong with the functioning of the club. Manchester United के साथ उसको compare मत कर मेरे हिसाब से. हाँ, बोल ना.
या मेरे को लग रहा है, पता है क्या, लाइक चेल्सी, यू नो राइट, दे हैव डन अ होल एस ओवरहॉल ऑफ द स्क्वाड. इतने नए प्लेयर्स हैं, दे हैव अ न्यू कोच, दे आर ट्राइंग टू सीप इन द आइडियाज, सो मे बी दे विल स्टार्ट क्लिकिंग. बट देन अगेन, यू नो, ब्रेंटफोर्ड्स consecutively won 3 games against Chelsea. So that's also telling of the times we are living in right now. Chelsea for sure are not living up to the expectations. I remember watching the Arsenal Chelsea game.
एक बात सुन, मेरे हिसाब से नॉट लिविंग अप टू द एक्सपेक्टेशन ना वो अभी है, ठीक है ना, बट तू देखना ये चेल्सी वाले ये लोग क्या करेंगे ना, दे विल फिक्स द प्रॉब्लम्स, दे विल स्टिक टू पॉच, they'll let him work his magic, and look at them a couple of seasons down the line. Is again my point. When you said कि मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड से भी खराब हालत है चेल्सी का, मुझे नहीं लगता, क्योंकि पोचेटिनो great manager, we all know that, right? The club will give him time, he will get his players, he will sell his players, he'll get that formula working, and then he will produce results. हमारे केस में प्रॉब्लम ये है कि किसी को नहीं पता कल को उसका नौकरी रहेगा कि नहीं. एरिक टेन हाग, मुझे तो लगता है, आई थिंक ही इज जस्ट काइंड ऑफ यू नो फंक्शनिंग आउट ऑफ फियर. नो, ही इज फंक्शनिंग आउट ऑफ फियर. दैट्स व्हाट आई फील, राइट? कि अगर प्लेयर जाके कल को जेडन सैंचो वाला सिचुएशन, या द क्लब बैक्ड हिम एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट इज देयर, बट did they really back him? Did they really come out and give a statement? Did they really say that no, come what may? Did they treat him, did the club treat him like the owners of Man United did with Sir Alex Ferguson when he came in? Is my question, one and only question. नहीं. हाँ, तो चेल्सी का ना ये you're right, I think losing to Brentford,
it's a patch.
हाँ, it's a patch, 100% it's a bad patch. Losing to Brentford also, did you watch the game by any chance?
I did watch the game. Chelsea, what it looked like to be their sure shot missing a striker, someone who's clinical at finishing. Then again, also Chelsea, they have a very new squad. I mean, compared to the people who were playing, the only senior player that they have available is Thiago
Correct.
Silva, and rest of the entire squad is very very new. So, but they did look like an energetic bunch of players who were just willing to give it all. They're running
Right.
around and like anyway, that's not, let's not get
Right.
there. But yeah, I think Chelsea if they turn it around, because I tell you, I was watching the Chelsea Arsenal game. Chelsea were leading 2-0, and then eventually Arsenal came from behind and drew
Right.
the game. Now I give all kudos to Arsenal, but also the fact that Chelsea managed to get two
Yeah.
goals in.
Yeah.
Of course, they had a penalty. But that's also says that, you know what, this club, whatever it is, the football they are playing is something that is good enough. I mean, they can, on their day, they can for sure win. But then again, you know, since it's a new squad, you allow people that amount of time
वो
to
देना ही
gel in
पड़ेगा, वो
and
देना ही पड़ेगा. कोई भी नया
if they
टीम
can,
है
of
वो
course,
6 महीना देना ही
yeah,
पड़ता है भाई.
yeah.
वो can't change that anyway.
yeah, and of course, if you let people, if you are able to hold on to that grit and determination for 90 minutes, for sure they're going to turn out as a winning
Exactly.
unit. But moving on, Sami, the another very important result was that of Arsenal versus Sheffield. Arsenal won 5-0 at Emirates, and this is what it is. Arsenal is in a very good patch of form, I think, despite Tottenham being on top of the Premier League right now. I think Arsenal somehow gonna nick it. I think, can this be their year? What do you feel like in terms of winning the Premier League this time around? Do you give Arsenal the chance this time around? Do you think they're gonna be able to win it?
If Arsenal does not win the Premier League this year, I think that is going to be an upset for me. Having said that, even if they finish number 2 to a City, is, I think, speaks volumes about where they are right now, in what space they are, right? Because the fact of the matter is that Manchester City का ना अभी जो current सिचुएशन है उसमें ना वो लोग कहीं पे somewhere down the line we kind of take them as champions, you know. They are expected to be champions.
Unfortunately, yes.
It is. I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, breaks my heart into a million pieces. But the fact of the matter remains that it is that, right? But अगर उनको कोई टक्कर दे सकता है इस सीजन तो वो है आर्सेनल. और अगर आर्सेनल इस साल I am very very disgusted with myself for even saying this out loud. But if Arsenal win the Premier League this year, I think I will be happy over Manchester City winning. क्या दिन आ गए यार.
For sure. हाँ, क्या सही में क्या दिन आ गए हैं. But amidst other results, Sammy, notably for sure it was our derby where we lost 3-0. Now there are some dubious calls here. Like, firstly, I just want to talk about the VAR call regarding the penalty that was awarded to Manchester City for Haaland actually supposed manhandling of Rodri inside the box. But this is something that happens in every game. So for me, it wasn't really a clear and obvious foul where VAR should have intervened. Now, this again, I mean, when you look at the same game, I mean, on the other side of the pitch, Haaland was just taken down by John Stones and then the VAR didn't intervene. So all I'm asking for is a little bit of consistency that I do not get to see at all. Now, I do not know. I mean, of course, the game was very bad for us. I mean, second half, we really lost the plot. So, yeah, Sammy, like I was asking you, this whole VAR thing, this inconsistencies within a whole game, and how, you know, a bad VAR call just sets the tone during a match, especially on a very special evening like that of a Manchester derby. For me, it was a very sour move. I mean, I think ये नहीं करना चाहिए था. This whole VAR call about that being a
एक
penalty
सवाल
for me,
पूछूं
it
क्या
wasn't.
तेरे से मैं?
पूछ ना भाई, पूछ.
एक सवाल पूछूं मैं.
पूछ ले यार.
वार सब छोड़ देते हैं. Did Manchester United play well?
No, not at all.
I rest my case. आगे बढ़ते हैं. मेरे को ये डार्बी के बारे में एक भी बात नहीं करनी है इस पॉडकास्ट पर. देवियों
Wow.
सज्जनों, भाइयों बहनों,
सही में.
मैं बहुत, मतलब मेरे दिल में बहुत दर्द है जो शायद मैं फिर से एक रैंट में चला जाऊंगा. I don't want to do that. So, yeah,
All
what's
right,
next,
all
bro?
right. All right. Moving on, Sammy. This time around, we do not have much to talk about in the Premier League except Everton, West Ham. Everton won 1-0. Given where Everton is right now, they just narrowly managed to get out of the relegation zone. For me, it was an upset fixture,
Right.
at least when it comes to West Ham. But Sammy, like we decided, what we are gonna do is we're gonna also tease a little bit of the La Liga to our viewers and our listeners. So I'm trying to
Absolutely.
open the La Liga score sheet, but one of the
While
most
you do that,
notable-
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I would want to take this opportunity to introduce the first ever La Liga corner on the Dead Ball Specialist podcast with Sammy and Saurav. We wanted to get more and more leagues into our discussions, and expanding from the Premier League into La Liga is just that first step. Saurav,
yeah.
तूने वो देखा क्या? El Clasico.
यार मैंने of course I mean I didn't watch the complete game, but I did manage to catch up on the second half, and dude, the only one thing that comes to my mind is the man of the hour, Jude Bellingham.
एक सेकंड रुक जा मैं उसमें सिर्फ एक लाइन ऐड करना चाहता हूँ. यही जूड बेलिंगहम मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड में प्रीमियर लीग में रेड टी शर्ट पहन के खेल सकता था, बट वो नहीं खेल रहा है. वो अभी खेल रहा है रियल मैड्रिड में. I think that's where he belongs as well, to be very honest.
He does,
but anyway, yes, you were talking about Bellingham.
Exactly. Jude Bellingham, despite Barcelona being 1-0 up thanks to Ike Gundogan, he scored in the 6th minute. But Jude Bellingham, he came in, he scored both the goals, won his first El Clasico. He scored in the 68th minute, and then he scored in the stoppage time. So, it also speaks right now about how he is, where he is right now. He's been scoring goals left, right and center. He's been scoring in the Champions League, scoring in the league. Now, people are really confused whether to call him an out-and-out striker or whether he's a midfielder. What is he? Because he seems to be in one of those purple patches right now, isn't it?
Purple patches, yes, bro. And when Benzema left and Real Madrid didn't have a striker, for a few days I really thought that यार ये ना इनको शायद इस सीजन में थोड़ा सा बम्बू हो सकता है, क्योंकि एक आउट एंड आउट स्ट्राइकर नहीं है. बट अ प्लेयर लाइक जूड बेलिंगहम कम्स अराउंड, ही शोज दैट कि भाई तू मेरे को स्ट्राइकर बुला, तू मेरे को डिफेंडर बुला, तू मेरे को गोलकीपर बुला, मेरे को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. मैं आऊँगा, खेलूंगा, गोल मारूंगा, घर जाऊँगा. And do it every day, repeat. I think seriously, man, hats off, Jude Bellingham. Only thing that I'm gonna say is that I feel bad that you never played for Man United. But yes, I am very happy that you're playing at a club of Real Madrid stature.
Of your own stature as well. Yeah. He totally belongs to that big stage.
100%.
Yeah. Amidst other fixtures that I get to see, Atletico Madrid won 2-1 against Alaves for sure. Now, when I look at the table, Sammy, Real Madrid right now, they are heading the crop of all La Liga teams. However, Barcelona is sitting 4th with Atletico Madrid. Real Madrid lead Barcelona by 4 points at this point of time. However, when I look at Atletico Madrid have played 10 games. They're 3 points behind Real Madrid with a game in hand. So this is something as of now, like getting into the winter fixtures. As of now, this is what it looks like, but you never know. There are still about a bulk of games to play for. I think, however, once the first draft of the Champions League, these league games of the Champions League, these draws, once they are done, and once you move into January and February, it will be really interesting to see how the La Liga also just shapes up, right?
No, absolutely. In fact, I'd like to quote this great man on this for where just the situation that you just pointed out as far as the table is concerned, the point situation is concerned. I'd like to quote this great man. His name is Badshah, and he has said, "Abhi to party shuru hui hai."
अरे अभी तो पार्टी शुरू हुई है.
Right. So party
बट मुझे लग रहा है सामी काफ़ी टाइम हो गया कि हमें इस पार्टी को अभी फॉर द टाइम बीइंग वी नीड टू जस्ट say that it's wraps because it's more than about half an hour right now.
हमारा पार्टी
Any
बंद
closing
करने का
thoughts?
टाइम आ गया, यही कह रहे हैं.
हमारा पार्टी बंद करने का टाइम आया है. So closing thoughts from the one and only Mr. Sammy.
Yes, the closing thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. I think the next time we record, there are going to be a couple of things. One is that I am hoping that India would have qualified for the semi-finals, and we are playing the semi-finals either in Kolkata or in Mumbai. That's cricket.
Wow,
in
lovely.
football, I feel that है ना, होना चाहिए भाई, होना चाहिए.
होना भी चाहिए
भाई मेरा ड्रीम है, मैं तेरे को बता
भाई
रहा हूँ.
साहब अहमदाबाद जाने के लिए आप वहाँ पे अहमदाबाद पहुँचोगे तो उसके पहले सेमीफाइनल तो खेलना ही पड़ेगा ना.
खेलना ही पड़ेगा ना भाई.
जीतना भी
बिल्कुल. और
पड़ेगा.
मेरा ये सपना है कि उधर रोहित शर्मा कप उठा रहा है और यहाँ पे मैं माइक पे चिल्ला रहा हूँ.
Are
And
you
the
sure it's
winners
gonna be
of
Rohit
the
Sharma who's gonna be
ICC.
lifting the club and not someone else? By someone else,
भाई
I
पता नहीं
mean,
मेरे
I
आई
छोड़ो
डोंट
यार,
केयर.
क्या नाम
मेरे को
को, I
तो
don't
वही
want to take
चाहिए. नहीं कोई भी उठाए भाई. ब्लू जर्सी, एडिडास का ब्लू ड्रीम 11 इंडिया लिखा हुआ जर्सी चाहिए मेरे को. ठीक है, जो भी उठाए. बट द पॉइंट है कि वो होना चाहिए, नंबर 1. नंबर 2 है कि आई रियली फील दैट आई एम अ लिटिल हार्ट ब्रोकन विद व्हाट आई वाज गोइंग ऑन एट यूनाइटेड. बट हैविंग सेड दैट गाइस, फुटबॉल हमारे रग रग में है. It's in our DNA. So come watch me. Saurav and I will always bring you whatever's happening in the world of football with, of course, a little twist of our own, and that I believe that we are entitled to. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, for sure. So, guys, if you want to hit us up on our social medias, here are our social media handles on your screen. We'd love to engage with you. We'd love to hear what you think about this little small program we've been trying to do. We've been trying to knit up something special. You'd find a lot of podcasts, but this is straight right from our hearts. We don't get paid for it. Neither does anyone invest in it. So I think
Saurav,
it
you're
is
not getting paid
agenda
for this,
free.
kya?
Bro, no one
You're not getting
pays
paid
for
for
this, bro.
this?
This is agenda free. भाई कोई है sponsor तेरे पास?
I am to getting paid.
What are you saying, bro?
Yeah,
Okay.
bro,
We're
I
gonna
am
take
getting
this
paid.
discussion. We're gonna take this discussion outside the ambit of the recording studio and get into who's getting paid and who's not getting paid. And so yeah, closing thoughts from my side, Sammy. I'm just gonna call you back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Thank you very much for watching the Dead Ball Specialist. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.